Okay, so let's take a look at our Unit 4 Quiz 1 review. So the warm-up to this review is about rounding decimal numbers. So round to the nearest whole number, okay? So the whole number means that it's going to be before the decimal, okay? And we see that right in the tens place, our number is a 6, and anything 5 or more, you are going to bring the number is going to round up. So the nearest whole number is going to be 33. Okay. For 66.2, right? Below 4 or below, you're going to go, and it's not go down, but the number is going to stay the same. So if this tens place was 5 or more, or is 5 or more, this goes up one whole value, and over here we have that it's below 5, and so it's going to stay at that value. So to the nearest tenth is one place value. So rounding to the nearest tenth, right, we want to round the number in the first place value after the decimal. So we have 71. Sorry, this is hard to draw with. We have 71, and it's going to be point, right, 0.8, because we look next to the 8, and it's a 4. So if it's less than 5, we're going to stay the same. And over here we have 20.35, and that 20 is going to stay here, okay? And we're rounding that 0.3 to 4. Okay, hundredths place, we have 2 decimal points, right? 2 decimal values, 73.4. Okay, and to find out if the 1 is going to become a 2 or stay, I look to the right of it, and the number to the right is an 8, so that's 5 or more, and I'm going to make this a 2 now. Okay, 2 place values. The third one is less than 5, so this number, that number in the hundredths place, is going to stay the same. This is thousands place, so I go 3 place values in. 21.789. And I'll just try to make this decimal point so you can see it. And then we have 7.34, 571. So 7 point, and we need 3 decimal places, 3, 4, and now we're going to look at the 5 and look at the number next to the 5, and that's a 7. So our value in the thousands place is going to go up. So let's look at some of these questions. Which ratio represents cosine of A in the accompanying diagram, triangle ABC? So this is A, and cosine, right? We have hypotenuse, we have adjacent, and we have opposite. How do I know? Because this side is on the angle, okay? It's adjacent to it. Adjacent really means next to, but it's on the side, or on the side, right? So it's on the side of the angle. Across from it is opposite. Okay, so we're looking at cosine. Cosine is ka, right? We have SOHCAHTOA. Cosine is ka. So it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So 5 over 13, and that's number 1. So let's take a look at number 2. We have a diagram below shows the right triangle LMP. Which ratio represents the tangent of angle PLM? So the tangent of angle PLM. So let's look for angle PLM. That's over here. So tangent. First we label the sides, and this is our adjacent. This is our opposite. And this is our hypotenuse. Now tangent is TOA. All right, SOHCAHTOA. Opposite over adjacent. So 4 over 3. And that is number 3. Okay, so we have, given the right triangle in the diagram below, what is the value of x to the nearest foot? So we have a right triangle with a 40-degree angle. This is the opposite. This is adjacent. And this is hypotenuse. So we have a value for an adjacent, and we're looking for the hypotenuse. Which one is adjacent and hypotenuse in it? That's ka. So the C is for cosine. So we have cosine 40. And that's equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So 14 over x. Okay, and when x is on the denominator here, right, I want to switch it with cosine 40 over cosine 40. So let's see. Oh, I have it here already. 14 over cosine 40, and that's 18.2757, right? And so I'm going to round it to the nearest foot. 18.2 was rounds to 18. So let's take a look at number 4. The expression sign of 28 is equal to. Okay, so 90 minus 28. Okay, and we know it's going to be cosine because that's what the cofunction is. And it's not going to be cosine 28, so I don't even have to do the math. Now, if you're not sure, you can always, in your calculator, do sine 28 and then see which one equals the same thing. Ah, that says sine 25. Hold on. And then see which equals the same thing. And if you put in cosine of 62, you will find that you get the same answer. Okay, so you could always do that if you need to. Okay, number 5. In the accompanying diagram, the accompanying diagram shows a ramp that's 30 feet long, leaning against the wall at a construction site. So this ramp is 30 feet long. If the ramp forms an angle of 32 degrees with the ground, how high above the ground to the nearest foot is the top of the ramp? Okay, so we want to find out how high above the ground is the top of the ramp. Okay, so we have an opposite, right? The wall is opposite of the angle. And we have a hypotenuse. What function is opposite over hypotenuse? Well, has opposite hypotenuse, and it's the sine function, right? So, katoa. So we have sine 32 equals, right, x over 30. Now, the x is already in the numerator, so I just need to cross cross multiply. And we have 30 times sine 32 equals x. Okay, so 30 times sine of 32 15.88. So 15.88, which is 15.9. The nearest tenth is 1 decimal place. Okay. Just checking. Okay. A ladder leaning against a building makes an angle of 58 degrees with level ground. Ground, ladder, and wall. Okay. Now, this is 58 degrees. And, okay, ladder leaning against the building makes a 50-degree angle with the level ground. If the distance from the foot of the ladder to the building is 6 feet, so the foot of the ladder to the building is 6 feet. Okay, find the nearest foot, how far up the building the ladder will reach. So we want to find how far up the building. So this is the building. So we want to find this height of the building. Okay, so we have a opposite and we have an adjacent. This is our adjacent. This is our opposite. Okay, so opposite and adjacent is TOA. So we're going to work with tangent. Tan 58 equals, this is a parentheses by the way, equals, right, x over 6. Now x is in the numerator, so we're just going to cross multiply 6 times tan, 6 times tan 58. Okay, and what does that equal? Okay, 9.60, and it wants to the nearest foot, so 9.6, so it's going to be 10 feet. Okay, last question on the review. A ladder 12 feet long leads against a wall that makes an angle of 72 degrees with the ground. Find to the nearest tenth of a foot the distance from the wall to the base of the ladder. So we have a ladder and it leans against a wall. Okay, this is the ladder is over here. All right, this is the ladder. This is the wall, and this is the bottom of the ladder to the wall. Okay, so the ladder is 12 feet long, and it makes a 72-degree angle with the wall. Okay, and we need to find the distance from the wall to the base of the ladder, so this distance. Okay, so in relation to our angle, we have adjacent and we have a hypotenuse. This is an A. Hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse is going to be ka, right? And that means cosine. Okay, so cosine $72 equals, right, adjacent over hypotenuse, so x over 12. The x is already in the numerator, so I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so we have 12, right, times cosine 72. And that's 3.708, and we want this to the nearest tenth of a foot. So we had 3.5, so it's 3, wait, what was the number? 3.708. 3.70, so that's going to be 3.7. So it is a distance of 3.7 feet. Okay. Okay, and that's it for our review. Good luck tomorrow. Okay, have a great night.